Today we're digging into a stack of sources looking at Nigeria's socioeconomic path up to 2030. And it's definitely high stakes. What really jumps out is just how fast and severe those policy shocks were between 2023 and 2025. Removing the fuel subsidy practically overnight, liberalizing the Naira, tough medicine.
Tough is putting it mildly. I mean, look at the figures. The Naira, it just collapsed, didn't it? Went from around N400 to N1700 to the dollar by late 2024. And that shockwave, well, it's an inflation soaring. We hit a 28-year high, 34.8% by December 24. So our job here really is to look at the data and figure out which way is Nigeria heading? Is it sustained reform or is it, failure?
Yeah, let's talk about this inflationary paradox of reform because the sources agree, right? These policies, they were needed fiscally, but boom, immediate pain for regular Nigerians through that massive inflation. So let's imagine they pull it off. What does that sustained reform future actually look like by 2030?
Well, the difference is huge. The sustained reform path, the SR one, it needs really rigorous execution, not just good ideas, but getting it done. If they manage that, the projections show GDP growth averaging around 6%, which is strong. And critically, extreme poverty potentially dropping to about 25.6% by 2030, that's a real improvement.
But, rigorous execution.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part, isn't it, given Nigeria's history? So what if things slip? What's the failure scenario look like?
If policies drift, if they can't follow through, that's the current path or failure CF scenario, then you're looking at much slower growth, maybe 3.8%, stagnation basically. And the really devastating outcome there, Nigeria potentially housing the world's largest number of extremely poor people. We could be talking 88 million by 2040.
Right.
It's a catastrophic possibility.
Wow, and that brings us straight to, people's actual lives. The pain right now is sharpest for the, 46% below the poverty line? Our sources point out these families are spending maybe up to 70% of their income just on food, just survival.
Yeah, and what's really interesting, or maybe worrying, is how deeper structural issues make things worse. It's not just about the exchange rate, it's what some call the security-poverty feedback loop. You've got widespread insecurity banditry, these farmer-herder clashes. That disruption, it acts like a structural driver of inflation. Farmers can't plant or harvest safely, so agricultural supply gets hit hard. That creates this conflict-induced supply shock inflation. Food gets expensive no matter what the central bank tries to do.
Right, so fixing security is actually key to fixing food prices. And speaking of costs, even when the government manages to boost tax revenue, which is tough enough, that money just gets swallowed by debt payments, doesn't it? This divergence of revenue and development spending, that 111% debt service to revenue ratio in 2023 is just alarming.
It's completely alarming. It means basically nothing, or less than nothing, is left over for building roads, power, schools, all the crucial development stuff. And that lack of spending, it crashes right into this huge demographic wave. You have 3.5 million young people entering the workforce every single year. If you can't create jobs for them fast enough, that potential demographic dividend, it flips, becoming a massive economic burden by 2030.
Okay, so to absorb that youth bulge, to actually achieve that better reform path, what are the absolute must-dos? What bottlenecks need breaking?
Well, beyond the obvious anti-corruption fight, they absolutely have to tackle the infrastructure deficit. It's stark. Nigeria's infrastructure stock is only about 30% of GDP. That's a huge physical barrier to getting anything done, especially industrializing. So you need targeted job creation, ICT, manufacturing, construction look promising. But those sectors can't take off without reliable power, without decent roads. Success really hinges on executing those development plans effectively.
So, synthesizing all this for you, the listener, the real challenge seems to be connecting the macro picture, like, the central bank clearing that $4.2 billion FX backlog, which is good news, connecting that to tangible micro improvements, like can people actually afford food? Is life getting easier day to day?
Exactly. And this analysis, it sort of sets up this critical 2030 poverty threshold because even the best case, that 25.6% poverty rate, that's still managing a crisis. It's not ending poverty. It really underscores that the biggest factor over the next decade isn't just the economics on paper, it's governance. Failure there risks tearing at the whole social contract.
So perhaps the key takeaway here isn't just about monetary policy or fiscal adjustments. It might be that achieving fundamental stability on the supply side, especially fixing agricultural insecurity, is the absolute prerequisite. That's maybe the only way to really lower the cost of living pressure. Something to think about.